From the beautiful Gulf Coast of Florida, it's Pirates Spring Training Baseball, brought to you by McDonald's. And they're filing in here at McKechnie Field today. Happy Easter to you. We've got a parrot for you, not quite a bunny, but we've got the Pirates and the Orioles here from Bradenton. And hi and welcome to the booth. Joe Block along with Steve Blass here with you tonight. And, you know, it's fun at this point of spring training. We're getting antsy. We're ready for opening day. But, of course, there's a few guys that are still very much biting those fingernails. They're nervous because this is a time to make the roster.
Absolutely. There aren't too many primaries left. So you've got to get the votes together from Pirate management and see if you get a chance to go up and start the season 1 week from today. And we will see 4 of these 5 candidates in the starting lineup tonight. Florimon not in the batting order, not in the lineup, but he leads the team with 12 RBI. So opportunities still exist for those other 4, and we'll see if they can make a mark for themselves again tonight. And it's kind of unusual to see viable candidates, this many viable candidates this late in spring training. And you know, you would think you're going to see a lot more of the regulars. So I expect that would start to really get more serious, and we'll see a lot more of the regular guys in the coming week.
Now, there's probably a couple of spots left on the roster. We'll find out who gets a little bit closer there tonight as the Pirates host the Orioles. Last night game of spring training here from McKechnie Field as it winds down. Spring training wrapping up. Pirates and Orioles coming up next here on Root Sports.
Our shop. Break out your bat and glove and get ready to dig in. Because baseball is back. It's a new season with new faces and a new attitude. Here, everything is possible. Because October dreams,
the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to the postseason,
are born in spring. Twins, Pirates, tomorrow at 1 on Root Sports. Root Sports congratulates Zach Lynch, who's been named as a finalist for the Hobie Baker Award. Through 37 games, the Shaler native and senior forward for Robert Morris
today. Pedro Alvarez, now of the Orioles, saying hello to some of his former teammates.
Yeah, renewing acquaintances. And the changing of the guard. John Jaso is going to be at first base. Pedro Alvarez is also going to be at first base, but with the Baltimore Orioles. Great to see Pedro. Always did a lot of good things for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but now he is part of the enemy camp.
Yes.
Coming over. Wish him well. Hope he knocks it out of the park, literally. Ain't no stopping us now. Like from 1979. That's the original. As the We Are Family group embraced that.
Now, you were just saying between innings, or before we get started here tonight, that not only is that the original sign, but also that it was a a rallying cry for these Orioles when you pitched in '71 in the series.
71, and then we got a hold of it. See, and we claimed ownership because there was no stopping us, no stopping that '79 team after they were down 3-1. So that all worked out. Yeah, that sign has endured since 1979.
I wonder what it's made out of to be able to last all those years like that. And
plastic. You remember The Graduate? Plastic.
Oh, okay.
Plastic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about plastic.
Last night game here tonight, and Pirates are playing 3 straight night games, trying to get into that feel for opening day, which is a week from today.
A week from today, absolutely. And they take the field. A lot of the candidates that we talked about are trying to earn a spot to go north with the ball club. You got Jordy Mercer, you got Josh Harrison, you got Andrew McCutchen. So you got some of the fellas that are going to be seeing action, and we would expect it to be more regular stuff as well.
And here's the lineup for the visiting Baltimore's tonight, and Paul Giannis, former Red, running in the number 2 spot. Alvarez, the 3-hitter at first base tonight, and rounding out the lineup of some of the guys trying to make the roster very much for the Orioles too. Familiar names from around the league, all trying to be part of the roster. Trevor Williams getting the nod tonight.
The number is brought to you by UPMC and this young man from San Diego, California, 23 years old. Last year, split the time, a little bit of time at Jacksonville, their AA, and then New Orleans, AAA. For Trevor Williams, went in the second round for the Miami Marlins way back when, highly regarded prospect, and he'll get it done. We'll start to get it done tonight. I was in the clubhouse. He was waiting to get ready to go out and warm up. I said, "What's the plan tonight?" He said, "Miss a lot of bats." Good plan.
Yeah, getting the nod because
no clutter.
Yeah, Juan Nicasio starting over in Pirate City earlier today. Here's the defense. John Jaso over at first base. Talking with Pedro Alvarez. Jaso he's done an adequate job over at first this spring, playing a position he's never played before.
All right, nothing dramatically in terms of negative things. A lot of positives because we haven't noticed him doing anything wrong.
Xavier Avery will start things off. Orioles got those bright orange tops for spring training. And Avery skies it into those clouds. Cole Figueroa getting the nod in left field tonight. And that's another interesting spot too, because for Figueroa, very, very little experience in the outfield, and he's trying to navigate the ball in those clouds, which could be a little tricky.
Right, and a strong wind blowing out to left field, so he'll have to keep track of the ball when it gets up in the air. That ball sometimes will get caught by the shortstop in short left field, but it got all the way out there, so the wind will be that factor to left tonight.
Paul Giannis takes a strike. And that's kind of what we've been talking about tonight with all the different guys that you mentioned, Steve, in our open tonight about these different players that are trying to find their way onto the roster, and some may be trying to add to their value by playing different positions.
Yeah, you got infielder in left, you got a catcher at first. Got Jason Rogers over at third base. I know they like him. They've been playing him a lot of at bats for Jason Rogers, and that many times is a tip off.
Trying to get a long look.
Jake Gilbert out in right field.
Getting some more experience in the outfield. Plays a little first base as well. 2-2.
Williams trying a couple breaking balls. 6'3", 230 pounds, as we said, out of San Diego. Certainly is big enough. He made some appearances for the Pirates as gets the strikeout. 2 up, 2 down.
And now Pedro Alvarez.
It's a nice reaction considering the fact there's nobody here in the stands tonight. Comparatively, we're not packing them in this evening, but on we go. Spring training baseball.
A pretty good crowd, but not what we've seen over the weekend. Some empty seats, but Easter weekend, of course. And Alvarez in there tonight over at first base, and they're going to try to factor him in as much as they can. which might be a little bit of a challenge. They've got a lot of good hitters, good power hitters in their lineup. Trying to take the youngster deep.
As we said, Williams, some early work before getting sent over to Pirate City with the minor league camp. He had a couple of appearances, just a couple of innings, but in those 2 innings, struck out 4.
Alvarez cracks this one, and he greets his former mates with a home run. We've been used to that sight, and he greets the youngster with the home run. Second of the spring for Pedro.
Well, he won't say much about it, but you know what? It does feel good when you do that, when you've left a team and you face him and he knocks the ball over the fence. That's his second home run. His first one was a grand slam. Here's the pitch. You don't get it far enough in. He can do that. Just want to get it in on his hands a little bit more. Just didn't get it in far enough.
So the Orioles open with a first inning run against Williams. And Nolan Reimold.
The Alvarez swing as he keeps his hands in far enough, and he when he gets that timing.
0-2 from Williams. Reimold will be on the Orioles bench this year.
Maybe that'll be the beginning of a Jose Bautista story for Pedro Alvarez.
Well, Bautista was barely in the big leagues. That one's down and away 1-2. Just trying to hook on with a club.
Yep, he was there for a little bit. Yep, and you'd have traded him too at that point. I mean, just one of those things. He blossomed late.
1-2, cracked his bat.
Hurt his foot, but they're going to call it a foul ball. Cracked his bat, might have cracked a bone in his foot. Phil Cuzzy is at first base. I think that's John Bacon behind home plate. Milwaukee, Will Little. Ooh. That hurt. That looked like it got part of the knee.
There's Phil Cuzzy.
Yep. Thank you.
Umpires get a lot of regular work in the spring, but they get some days off too.
I don't know much about John Bacon, except I love his name. We all do. Don't we? Everybody loves Bacon.
And a sizzling night here, warm night.
Nice night for a nice BLT.
Yeah.
Or 4 of them.
2-2 hit in the air, and this one is hit a long way to left.
Got it up in the jet stream. 2 quick outs, 2 quick home runs.
Nolan Reimold, who has been a regular in the big leagues before, pitched a 6 last year in very brief action for the Orioles.
Yeah, when you hit the ball well in that direction tonight, it's just going to keep on trucking. Let's see if he elevates the ball. Well, actually went out and got a decent curveball. Could be a case where he was looking for the breaking ball. He found it.
Now L.J. Hose. Williams getting the start underneath the lights. Harrison.
1-4-3 action.
Gets him out of it. Orioles score a pair. Alvarez and Reimold go deep. Warm and breezy night here in Bradenton. And Pedro Alvarez, the first of 2 home runs for the Orioles. And looking at our RAV4 lineup for the Buccos tonight, John Jaso leading things off. And he will be doing that, it looks like, during the regular year against right-handers. McCutchen back in that 2 spot. And then a slew of guys who you're talking about, Steve, many of whom have still a very good chance to impress this final week and make the roster.
Jaso working against Ubaldo Jimenez, 12-game winner. .32 starts last year for this right-hander, 12-10. Picked up his 100th win. That's a big deal.
Wrapped foul.
Solidly hit, but John a little bit out in front. By the way, a scoring correction on my card. The ball never did get a piece of Trevor Williams.
Okay.
I thought it did. So it's just a simply 4-3. Good play by Josh Harrison. Lights haven't taken effect.
Full on Jaso, 3-2. Probably a good play by Williams last inning to not touch the ball. May have deflected it, slowed it down. Jaso's going to work a walk. Setting up Andrew McCutchen. And their Barrel Automotive League leaders, Grapefruit League home run leaders. Markel Franco of the Phillies. And then the Orioles, Mark Trumbo in there too, but Andrew McCutchen, 5 home runs.
Kind of in a bunch, about 5 and 6, 7 or 8 days.
Take it outside for ball 1, and McCutchen in that number 2 spot in the order, and this is something that looks like we're going to see at least to begin the season.
157 games. Love to get that many of it. Andrew again, keep him healthy all year. Jimenez has got an interesting delivery. He gives you that kind of wrist cock back of his body. It goes back and gets that grip going, get the wrist going. Maybe something to try to distract. Picks up the outside corner.
You think that is for a hitter? Do you think that would be distracting, or is it because it's a different look?
It can be. It might be just a natural thing that he does. Not even intended to be deceptive, but it looks a little deceptive. He goes way back there. So you actually see the ball once, and then it goes behind his back as he comes forward to deliver it. That could be a little tricky. The heck, he won a dozen games.
Yeah, good the first half last year, too, for Jimenez.
100 overall.
2-2. Hit foul.
I'll be back tomorrow. You might not be. Later, dude. Sorry, tie guy.
There's last year's first baseman and this year's first baseman.
Number 29, number 28.
Base hit into left. And so just like they hope to draw it up with Jaso and McCutchen, the 2 best on base percentage guys on the club, and they both get on this time tonight. Matt Joyce is the number 3 hitter.
A couple nights ago when we were down in Fort Myers, I think Jordy Mercer got on base a lot. About 3 walks out of 4 bats, something like that. So, yeah, you like to get that action from the top.
We saw Jordy Mercer as the leadoff man against a left-handed pitcher, David Price, on Friday night. That's still up for debate if he would be that guy. Joyce taking a strike.
Perhaps a mix-up on the signals as Perez will go out and talk to Jimenez. There's preferred seating right there. That's a seat upgrade. Somebody won some kind of contest.
Yeah, it's all available to you here at McKechnie Field. If you're planning a trip down, still a little time this week, but otherwise, you know, maybe make your plans for next year if you haven't been down or haven't been down in a while.
Matt Joyce, a couple home runs this spring.
And in camp as a non-roster invitee, so there's going to be a decision that has to be made soon.
Yeah, not all these guys are going to make it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we know.
Well, his deadline is sooner than others because of his experience. And that's the roster retention rule that baseball brought in a few years back, where if you've got X amount of big league time, Clint Hurdle is going to have to make some tough decisions. So Tuesday, 2 days from now, I'll have to decide on Joyce.
So either tell him he's going to be around or cut him free to make a deal, huh?
Or you can pay him some cash, $100 grand to be exact, and then that will allow him to stick around for.
That'll buy you some time.
Yeah, he can go down to the minor leagues for a short time.
Okay.
And
so that's not a backroom deal. That's a rule.
Yes, that's now a uniform rule, where you know, guys are starting to negotiate that anyway, and I think that made sense with baseball. Nice. Worked the count full, 3-2. Yeah, otherwise they get an out clause on June the 1st if you pay them that $100 grand and send them to the minors. So
you get to hedge your bet as a player.
Yeah, they get some cash and you get some depth. 3-2. Jimenez gets one.
And Jimenez was totally committed to third base until he found that there was nobody in an orange shirt over there.
Tollison thinking he might have a play on it.
There's Ubaldo, and recovered to get the out.
And acts as a sacrifice, although charged to time at bat. And Jason Rogers cleaning up tonight. Now the other guy that had that roster retention bonus coming to him would have been Eric O'Flaherty, but he was traded today. Left-handed pitcher to a team that he had the most success with in his career, the Atlanta Braves.
So that takes him out of the equation, certainly, for that other quote unquote left-hander in the bullpen.
And so these are the left-handers that are left.
Expect to see Lepke tonight.
Lobstein pitching yesterday, 4 innings down at Fort Myers. Rogers pops out foul for the second out. So a situation where if the Pirates do indeed keep another lefty, then those would be the two men that are the leaders now. And Lupke, who we will see tonight, like I said, Steve, you know, there's a situation where he reportedly has an out coming up as well. So he might have to just be simply added to the roster to get him in the mix for times coming up. So a lot of behind the scenes, you know, things that have to go on. You don't just pick the best guys, I guess, these days. There's always a
you hope to
clause.
Yeah.
Well, you see what I mean. There's
a lot of different roads you can take.
Yeah, well, I want him, but I got to pay him this, or if I want to keep him, I got to not pay him, or.
Well, money's no object.
Right. But pretty much Clint Hurdle's got to, like you said, pick the best 25 guys, and he just might have to do it 5 days sooner than he'd like. And that gives those veterans a chance to find work before everyone lines up on the chalk lines.
Yeah, and it's getting down to cases now because most rosters have been set or very close to being set. We've got 42 players in camp. I'm stunned. But they know what they're doing. The Pirates have a plan. They've got 42 players here because they want to have 42 players here right now. So we'll start to see things happen this week for sure.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
Split squad yesterday, and today's Easter, so maybe they didn't want to cut anybody on Easter. Here's the 1-2. And into no man's land in the left. That's going to score a pair on the bloop double by Josh Harrison. He's heading to third, and he's going to get in with a hustle triple.
Yep, again, nobody home at third base, and Josh saw it all the way. Well, it was out in no man's land. The shortstop out, the third baseman out. Josh Harrison coming into third base, or into second base, could see that there was nobody there. We knew he was going to be at second because we could see the green thing on his head.
Well, how about a little pop-up that turns into 3 bases?
You see, both the shortstop and third baseman are gone. And here's Josh. He's watching. He's looking. There goes the hat. And now, yeah, why not?
And for you youngsters out there, run out of the box hard. You don't know what's going to happen. And he did that. And so, as we go back to that lineup construction we keep talking about, Julio Borbon, the left fielder, with some trouble, but Jason and McCutchen both get on, both come around to score as well.
In a perfect scenario, defensively for the Orioles, the shortstop will go out, and the third baseman will have to hang just in case. But they were both out there.
Robert swings and misses.
Because your shortstop has the best angle to go over and have a shot at the ball. The ball's right over the head of the third baseman, so they just got caught. But defensively, if you want to run it correctly, you probably have the third baseman come back just in case he's needed.
Three and one now to Gobert. Gonish, the shortstop on the left of the screen there. Gobert with a 2-out base hit. Harrison trots in to score. The Pirates have the lead 3-2.
We got a barn burner.
Back-to-back 2-out hits, and the Buccos on top.
That ball was up and out of way, and Jake just turned it flat around, sent it to right field. You know, that other factor on the Harrison hit, you don't know how far over towards second the shortstop is setting up before that pitch is thrown. So third baseman might think, well, he's got too far to go, so I got to take a shot. Sometimes you just flat out get caught.
Dave Wallace, veteran pitching coach.
Waterbury, Connecticut.
Oh, okay. And Jimenez, who has not pitched in Grapefruit League action in some time. He's worked on the minor league side lately. Starting to get to the point. He might even be the opening day starter for the Orioles. They have not announced whether it be he or Chris Tillman, who's done it the last couple of years, is still to be decided.
Yeah, Buck's never going to show his hand because he's Buck. Buck Showalter. Yeah. You'll wait till I tell you.
This is not helping Jimenez's cause with an early uprising. Jaso working that leadoff walk, then McCutchen's base hit. Harrison with a bloop triple.
We've had one of those games. Didn't we have a 15-12 game? So we've had one barn burner. I think it was against the Phillies.
Yes. Worked that game up in Clearwater.
Maybe tonight we're going to see the bats on fire.
Nice forearm night here.
These guys could get some action.
2-0 on Jordy Mercer. Now 2 balls with a strike. If you look over the right shoulder of Mercer, you see some sideburns. Brady Anderson of the Orioles. Last Oriole to hit 50 home runs in a season. already.
That was an interesting number for Brady Anderson, wasn't it? Got a lot of attention.
Yes, as a leadoff hitter. Yeah. We've been talking about, lineup construction. If you got a guy to lead off that can hit 50 home runs, well then, okay, makes an easy choice. Cracked into center. Base hit for Mercer. Gilbert puts on the brakes, and 3 straight 2-out hits.
Had nothing cheap about this one. Ball right over the middle of the plate. Good solid contact. No flare there. And now Buck wants to talk to his pitcher, and that's going to be it.
Wow.
Get the hook, Louie.
Well, 36 pitches in an inning, and you don't want to hurt your starting pitcher here in spring training. So that's it for Ubaldo Jimenez. 2/3 of an inning tonight.
Well, that's what happened to him his first start. He got knocked around for 6 runs in 1/3 of an inning. And now that's a tough one.
3-2 Buccos here in the first inning. Back in a moment. Richard Rodriguez now on here in the first inning. And Cole Figueroa, the number 8 hitter. So 7 batters for Jimenez tonight. That's it.
Yeah. As you said, his first outing, 1/3 of an inning, 6 earned. So he actually has had a good spring in between these two. The bookends.
Good numbers for Rodriguez in the minors last year. And Figueroa playing in left field tonight, so trying to show his versatility. Pretty much a career infielder. Just a couple of games in the minor leagues ever in the outfield. So
didn't this fellow on the mound do some college coaching in football, Rich Rodriguez?
At
WVU?
Yeah. Michigan after that.
A lot of stops.
Yeah. Well-traveled Rich Rodriguez. No relation as far as we know. Figueroa. This one might be in play. Comes back for Perez. And bails out Jimenez. 3 runs across, though, and the Pirates are on top. And a nice place to saddle up. Josh Harrison with the bloop triple with 2 outs, driving in a pair, and then Jake Gobert following with a single, knocking in the go-ahead run and knocking out eventually the Orioles starter Ubaldo Jimenez, lasting 2/3 tonight. Happy Easter to you. Glad you're with us. Sunday night game.
Same to you. Happy Easter.
Yes. Trevor Williams gave up a couple of home runs in the first inning and has a lead. Steve Tollison bidding to make the club as an infielder. Now even up on him. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Robbie's here tonight with a little bit more on the other starter today.
Well, Joe, Juan Nicasio, another fantastic outing today. He did give up the 2 runs, but he's at 100 pitches now in terms of being stretched out here as we get ready for the season. Juan, how did everything go today, and how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good today. I threw like 100 pitching, getting AAA. I had 2 runs, I give me 2 runs, but I'm feeling really good with my breaking ball. Like I'm working with my changeup today, really good. And my fastball, my command, my fastball, it's really good. I'm feeling good today.
Why do you think you've had so many strikeouts in spring training?
Yeah, I'm working like my mentality. Like the last year in the hands, I pitching like 1 hit at a time, like for pitching like the bullpen. Last year I pitching the bullpen. I think hitting for hitting, like pitching 1 pitch at a time. And every time when I had a hit into a try, I try like a strike out.
When the Pirates signed you, we thought you're going to the bullpen. But you've pitched very well in spring training, being stretched out as a starter. What is it like to have made the decision tough for the Pirates?
Yeah, you know, I know it's a big decision, but you know, it's not matter with me. Like he put me in the bullpen or starting. I'm be good in the ball, and I'm here and try like be the team win, and he go to the bullpen. I try to be the bat in the bullpen. He put me starting. I try to be the bat in starting. It's not matter to me. Like I'm be ready for ball.
How much fun is it for you since you've come to the Pirates?
Yeah, it's really fun. There's speed training, a lot of fun here. There's a lot of younger players. I'm happy to be part of it right now. I'm happy.
Juan, congratulations on a great spring. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Joe, Juan Nicasio making it a very tough call for the Pirates.
Yeah, it's good to have options.
Well, it's been the perfect scenario for Nicasio to be here because he has a record, he has a resume of working out of the bullpen. So if he doesn't get in the rotation, he's not going to be devastated. He would like to start. Obviously, everybody likes to start if they've had a taste, and he has. So it's not like if he gets sent out there, he's going to pout about it. I mean, he comes in with a professional attitude, and he feels like, okay, I can pitch out of the bullpen, knowing that if he does, he's still 24 hours away from starting. You know, that you can call on him at any time. So, again, we'll see how it works out. But for the Pirates and Nicasio, this is a perfect, I think, psychological situation. He comes here, he does exceptionally well in the spring training. So you've got a chance to use a guy that has been tremendously effective for this month of March either way.
Now he's really opened some eyes, and today they moved him to the backfields over at Pirate City, facing Toronto's best minor leaguers, and just to make sure he can get some work in, and got his 6 innings, 100 pitches as he said, and a 2-out base hit for Garabez Rosa.
As he beats the shift as Josh was shaded up towards second. Though we're going to have Josh involved on all 3 plays.
But for Nicasio, you know, it's I mean, in my opinion, it's good to have options.
Well,
so
it's no lose deal.
Yeah, he's trying to force the hand, but I thought it was interesting what he said too. Is he's taking this new approach, you know, being a reliever last year for the first time, full time as a reliever with the Dodgers. He was a starter with the Rockies, and he says he now he tries to be of that reliever mentality, 1 batter at a time.
Yeah, which isn't a bad approach if you're starting or relieving. You know, it's a good approach wherever you are. So, yeah, I think it's been a perfect deal for both he and the Pirates to have him have come over here and have a great spring. Now, if he comes over here and struggle, okay, what do we do? Well, obviously, we put him in the bullpen because we heard so much about Ryan and Jeff. But he has changed the thinking, or at least conceptually, with his great spring.
Andre Perez, 2 balls and a strike to him now. So, Vogelsong and Locke, they've pitched decently this spring. The numbers are ERAs in the 6, but spring training, anything that's kind of anywhere near the middle is all about the same, pretty much, well, unless you're really, really good or really, really bad, right?
Yeah, you can take those numbers and those outings down either road.
Yeah.
You say I'm a veteran. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You know what I can do. You know what I can't do. And both Jeff Locke and Vogelsong have been around. So how much does it mean? You'd probably have to get behind closed doors with Ray and Clint.
Yeah, past performance probably more of an indicator. There's strike 3 call. A couple of strikeouts tonight for Trevor Williams. 2 out, hit left stranded for Baltimore, and the Pirates coming to bat leading 3-2. On the UPMC scoreboard, 3-2 Pirates.
You gotta get rid of that man bun.
Rodriguez on in relief of the starter, Ubaldo Jimenez. Working to Ed Easley, the 9th hitter in the Pirates lineup, leads off the 2nd inning. You like that? Former Cardinal. And he's the first out. Now, he might get some extended action in Indianapolis this year. It's probably where he's ticketed. They think he'll be the backup there for Elias Diaz, who is still right now on the shelf and may not be able to throw when the season opens.
Yeah, that was a interesting video the other day. Interesting tape that he was taking the ball into his left hand, not even attempting to throw it underhand or roll it or anything. That looked pretty serious.
I like to sit up there and see it.
And they're hoping it should be minor, though, but still at the moment not able to return. John Jaso with a walk, scored a run way back in the 1st inning.
Yeah, you might want to be a little careful with Diaz's arm because it's one of the best. That right arm.
Now this one hit well into right and off the glove of Hose.
Might have been off the glove twice. Looked like he had it measured. And, wasn't to be, so John Jaso out at second base. Well hit, but the wrong direction. Take a look at the bounce and then off the fence, maybe more contact. The ball's all over the place.
Now hosed down after making that miscue. But trying to impress in camp. A lot of these guys that are in the lineup for Baltimore trying to make their way aboard. Now Andrew McCutchen again with a man on. So Jaso tonight, a walk and a double. So far this has seemed to be working out, this McCutchen batting second. You know, it's only a few games and it's spring training, but it makes you probably feel good when you make a decision. At least it's starting to go well initially.
Certainly for the power.
Now behind 1 and 2.
Andrew found the hole between third and short last time up, first time up.
Very, very good spring training for Andrew McCutchen.
Well, you know it's Andrew up there. You see that coiled stance, you see the bat on the shoulder, and then all of a sudden, if that ball starts coming, you see him locked in. He's ready to turn it loose. Familiar approach to hitting for Andrew. That starts on the shoulder, but it certainly doesn't stay there.
Uses his hips so well, doesn't he? That twist.
Yep, everything. That ball, he got away with something there. That breaking ball upstairs.
For Alvarez. Had a couple of those tonight.
Come on, Matt, bring him in.
And let's take a look at our Allegheny Health Network injury update. Starling Marte, this is last night. And he stayed in the game a couple of innings after that, but then left. He had a little tightness in his left quad. And originally penciled into the lineup tonight. And thinking to make sure that, you know, Clint Hurdle says, you know, why press it? Give him another day. This point of spring training, get these guys 100% if you can. Matt Joyce. That'll end the inning. So the gift double left stranded, and we're through 2 here from McKechnie Field. Hot night. Cool Suds 3-2 Pirates. Brought to you by McDonald's. Pirates have a 3-2 lead. Beginning the third. And my favorite shot, the grilled meats.
Yeah, they look pretty darn good.
We always taste some of the offerings here before the game.
Good stuff. Good stuff. It's all good at McKechnie.
Xavier Avery into center. And McCutcheon, his first action in the field tonight.
Trevor Williams has settled down after the back-to-back home runs in the first inning. One hit since then.
I liked him in the very little that we've seen him. I've talked with him a little bit, and the Pirates very much in the same boat. And I was saying that if they didn't have the need to have some veterans at AAA in the rotation, I don't know where Williams is going to start. He might end up being in Indy to begin the year, but there's a chance he might have to slide down to Altoona, even though if they didn't have the depth that they had, he would definitely be in AAA to start the year.
Lots of pitching. Stack up your pitching. Stack it all up. Wherever they wind up throwing, you can move up through the ranks very quickly as a pitcher. We've seen that happen. Pile up your pitching.
Here's Paul Yanish. And, there are going to be injuries. There is often, with every team, some underperformance. And an opportunity for guys to slide in if they are doing so well. Nice off-speed pitch.
Well, let me make sure if I cough.
We got you switched around
yeah,
tonight.
we got
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Rogers has a tough time getting it out, but does in time. And Buck Night presented by Sugardale, April 5th. Pirates are playing the Cardinals, and you can lock in dollar tickets when you purchase any Monday through Friday Pirates ticket at full price. Dollar fountain drinks and food items also available. The special offer only valid through today in limited quantities. So visit pirates.com/bucknight. Opening day is a week away. And Pedro Alvarez saying hello with a home run back in the first.
Same kind of situation. 2 outs, nobody on.
And playing over at first base tonight, and the Orioles have said they want him to play some third again, play some first base. Of course, in the American League can be the designated hitter often. But they've got a lot of DH types, so they're going to have to try to find him a spot. And Williams exacts his revenge. Alvarez strikes out. 3 Ks for Williams tonight. Nice tidy 1-2-3 third. 3-2 as we begin the bottom of the third inning. And we're visiting with Pirates pitching coach Ray Searage joining us. Hey, Ray.
Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
We're doing good. Doing good, Ray. Appreciate you taking the time. And everybody wants to know, and you've answered this question 1,000 times. We'll make it 1,001.
Okay.
Where are we in the status for the rest of the rotation?
Right now, we're still trying to put the X's and O's together. We got a couple of guys that are making a good bid for it. So, we're going to have a meeting tomorrow. We'll have more information for everybody when it's all said and done.
How much of a factor, Ray, is the fact that one or two or maybe everybody could work out of the bullpen if you have a candidate? Say you got 2 guys, 3 guys, and one can work more comfortably out of a bullpen. Is that as big a factor as we think it is?
Yeah, it is. Definitely the environment. Being a starter, you have a certain routine coming out of the bullpen. You've got a certain routine, but it's not in depth. It's a lot quicker because you have to get ready fast. And with those two, and when you can do both of them, that gives you more value to the organization and to the team when you can either start or relieve.
Was this the perfect situation to have Nicasio come in, and he can do both things, but having a good spring and not having a bad spring where you say, okay, the decision is already made?
It is. It worked out good. He had an opportunity. He went to work with it. He's going after it. It's going to be a tough meeting tomorrow and trying to figure out who's 4, who's 5. And, but you gotta give the guy a lot of credit, though, because he got an opportunity and took advantage of it. So we'll see how the chips fall.
Ray, when he came into camp, any specific things that you worked on or that he worked on to change where he has been in the past that made this spring the spectacular spring it's been for him?
Well, it was just real subtle changes. While we're looking at the video and watching him throw his pens and in the game, the front shoulder was coming out a little bit too early. He was a power guy, or still is a power guy, and once the front shoulder comes out, the head was tilting. So the strike zone ultimately tilts through his eyes. And what we did was try to keep his head on the target and going in his lane. And ultimately that corrected the front shoulder. And then before you know it, you fix one thing, and it's almost like a domino effect, and everything just lines up. And it did for him.
Josh Harrison sends that one to the warning track.
Easier scenario, certainly, to ask you about Garrett Cole. He came in with a little rib irritation, but you feel fine where he is right now?
Yeah, he's a healthy pitcher, but the biggest thing that we have to do is make sure that he gets his pitches in. He starts to build, the endurance and the strength in his arm. We've got to make sure that he gets, his starts and his warm-ups, get his routine down. We found a little glitch a couple days ago that he wasn't doing, that now he is doing, and he was happier than a lark today. He was chatty Cathy all day long today, man. I was like, oh, somebody's feeling good.
Yeah, I stopped in the clubhouse. He was always ready to talk and chat and all that sort of thing. Great to see that. Great to see him because we know his personality. He wants to be so good and so intense. So yeah, glad you got to see him on a good day.
Yeah. The younger kids want everything done yesterday, but it's a process.
Ray Searage, Pirates pitching coach, with us. And Ray, we talked a little bit earlier about the couple of lefties that the Pirates are looking at. Corey Lupke, who's supposed to pitch tonight. Kyle Lobstein, who pitched yesterday. And what have you seen from those guys so far as they make a bid to make the roster?
That's what I'm saying. This meeting's going to be tough, brother. Everybody's making a viable shot for a roster spot.
You wouldn't want it any other way, would you?
No. You know what? That means we're getting better as an organization, too, and we have to make tougher decisions than we did in the past. And that's a credit to Neil and Clint and the way they've handled a lot of things.
Good problems to have. Ray, hey, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me. I wish we would have scored 4 runs so we could talk a little more.
Yeah, I know it.
Appreciate it, Ray. Appreciate it always.
Thank you.
Hit on the first pitch, cracked his bat, and scooted down the line to get aboard.
Yeah, should have been E1 here, but clank, and see if they award him a base hit. Scoring doesn't matter. Trevor will tell you he should have made that play, and Josh almost pulls it off.
That is a base hit.
Okay,
but Harrison with a shot there. And that's a midseason form for Jay Hay. Now Hose. Bounce out his first time. Trevor Williams working into the fourth. Thanks again to Ray Searage for visiting with us in a very brief bottom of the third inning. But, you know, I thought it was interesting, Steve, how he was talking about there's going to be a lot of decisions, at least talked about tomorrow. But, you know, there are some decisions that have to be made prior to Tuesday. So we may learn of some things here in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yep.
Final spring training game is Thursday down here.
So, yeah, you're talking about fourth and fifth starters, and you're talking about the Pirate bullpen. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, probably one spot, maybe two, could be available if Jared Hughes is not ready in time. We have not been told that he would not be ready for opening day. That's still very much a possibility.
But the disabled list is always a factor when you're fine-tuning your roster to start the season. In fact, some teams get very creative with their disabled list.
Hangnail. Strike in there to Hose. And then as we were talking about in the open tonight, and the way that we estimate it, there's probably 2 bench spots open to start the year.
Saw 5 candidates up on the screen at the start of the ball game.
4 of which in the lineup tonight. There it goes. Hose swings and misses, and they got him.
Swipe tag by Josh. Pirates get the call. So that missed opportunity to retire Reimold earlier comes to pass at second base.
And he threw him out easily.
Oh, with a phantom tag.
Ed Easley.
Yes, he did.
30% caught stealing in his minor league career. Got his first cup of coffee last year with the Cardinals. And that one's a base hit. So Hose on at first. And what could have been a big inning starting. Negated by that caught stealing. Bar area here at McKechnie Field. You can watch the game on TV from inside the ballpark.
There you go. Yeah.
If you haven't been down here in the last few years, really nice upgrades here to McKechnie Field.
Nice to talk to Ray about Garrett Cole, who was scheduled to start tomorrow, I believe. But just fine-tuning some things, you know, a little adjustment here, a little adjustment there.
Well, we've got baseball for you again tomorrow right here on Root Sports. Part of that extended package of games bringing you Pirates from Florida here on Root Sports. We've upped the ante. So if you can't be with us in person, next best thing, watch us as we enter this final week now. And we've seen a lot of guys, as Ray Searage was talking about last night, we've seen a lot of guys perform well, and there are going to be some tough decisions for those final roster spots. That's a good thing.
You're going to step off. And it gets interesting in a lot of different ways for guys that are trying to make a ball club and are not sure. What do I do with my car? What about my family if I got my family
That's
here?
a great point.
Packing, where do I pack for? Indianapolis or Pittsburgh? And it can come down to really come down to the wire in some cases. I remember having gone through that.
Tollison swings and misses.
I had one scenario, and true story. I was told by Joe Brown 2 days before we broke. I said, I got to know what to do. Where to send my wife and family. And he said, you're on the ball club. So I sent Karen to Columbus, and I got told the next day that I was going to Columbus. So she made the big leagues before I did.
And Steve Tollison is aboard.
They had one of those coming. We a lot of our offense out of a little wedge shot like that. So yeah, it can be agonizing not knowing if you're going to make the club, and then there's some perimeter details that you need to figure out what you're going to do. I remember back in spring training having to leave Connecticut in a U-Haul trailer because we had not only had to come to spring training, but then where are we going to go after that?
Oh, wow. So you had to have all your belongings for 6 months.
You're dragging everything all over the place.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. The Pirates especially playing the day before opening day in Indianapolis in an exhibition against the Reds. And I wonder if some of the guys will know whether they're staying or making that next flight after the game.
And sometimes they'll bring minor league players to those kind of scenarios. I know when we played a lot of series in Philadelphia, we played 2-game series. Sometimes they bring minor leaguers on the plane to go up to Philadelphia, knowing they were coming back here.
Well, it's a tense time. And some of these guys that have come over from minor league camp, they know that they're going to start the year in the minor leagues, but they're enjoying the experience.
Well, how do you feel about your chances after Tuesday's meeting? Do you think it's looking pretty good for you right now, I believe?
Well, I mean, I'm new guy on the block here, so
I think you've made the club. Yeah. I think you've made the club.
I hope so. I mean, we've moved in, we've bought a house, we're here, so.
Well, hey, opening day is still opening day, but I think it looks good.
Okay, good.
It looks good.
Although Altoona is pretty this time of year, you just don't know. I am looking forward to seeing. I have been to Indianapolis before, but I have not been to the Altoona ballpark. I have not been to the new ballpark in Charleston.
All right, wait.
I want to see.
Don't do it. Stay in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I haven't been to Morgantown yet.
Yeah, I went down throughout the first pitch at a Black Bears game. Yeah, and then got rained out.
Oh, good luck charm still.
Yeah,
to this day.
Strikeout number 4 for Trevor Williams. As we said, he struck out 4 in his 2 innings of work earlier. It looks like an off-speed pitch with good motion. Didn't give it away.
Backdoor Bourbon. So 3 straight singles, but the caught stealing leading off the inning helping him. And now Garabres Rosa. Rogers with an easy play.
That'll do it.
And the Easter Bunny here in Bradenton.
Spring Training Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the brand new all-wheel drive Toyota RAV4 Drive Hybrid. There's so much to discover with just one tank. And by UPMC, life-changing medicine. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the fourth here from Bradenton. Yeah, the Pirates 3 in the first with the lead. Maybe that's her first game. Nice Easter dress.
Ground crew working hard here. Well, that's a carriage. That's not something the ground crew.
Yeah, that's not.
It looked like a wheelbarrow for a minute.
Yeah, maybe getting the chalk. Yeah, some of the youngsters maybe enjoying a nice dinner with the family today, and then a little baseball at night.
Yeah. Beautiful time of the day. Not quite sunset here. Long shadows. And Zach Phillips coming on. 46 appearances last year. Things have settled down after the first inning.
Yeah, that cloud cover is starting to break up a little bit. Nice evening sun now. Hoping for good weather for opening day a week from today. Jordy Mercer with a base hit back in the first. That knocked Jimenez out of the game after 2/3 of an inning. He did continue in the bullpen, though, and get some work in. But 36 pitches in the first inning, yeah, you can't go much further than that. And that's why, today with Juan Nicasio pitching over on the minor league side, that's why we hear so much of that happening now in spring training, where, a starting pitcher works over there. Why wouldn't he be in the Grapefruit League game? Well, sometimes you run out of pitches.
Yeah. It's interesting. If you're an established starter, most times you'll like to get an outing in late in spring training where you go 6, 7. It's just okay. I'm ready. I can go deep into a ball game. That's not always the case now. Or even if you do, it might be against minor leaguers. So I guess as long as you get it done.
Jordy Mercer is 2 for 2. Getting a hit off a lefty. And something that, the Pirates are talking about having him as the leadoff hitter against lefties, and good career numbers in that department. So perpetuating that belief with that base hit. Cole Figueroa, non-roster player. That's going to be interesting what comes down for these final couple of bench spots. Figueroa, an infielder, but playing the outfield tonight and has throughout the spring. And there's no room right now on the 40-man roster. But Nick Kingham is not going to be back. You can put him on the 60-day and create a spot that way without losing a player.
Sometimes just flat out change it. Take one off, put one on.
Yep. So there are those that could be in that situation. Very interesting for Pedro Florimon, because he is on the roster, but he's out of options. So you either have to have him make the ball club or expose him to the other teams. You can't just send him down if you don't want to take him.
Yeah, and he's had a good spring with the bat. Usually considered a glove guy, but he's knocked in 12.
Leads the ball club. So there's always more to it than just say, all right, let's pick 25 guys. And sometimes there's a caveat. Clint Hurdle has to.
Is that like a dead person? No, that's a cadaver. That's really when you get sent down.
6 feet.
Yep. So it gets interesting, and the GMs are. That's why there's so many meetings. There's enough meetings going in, and then it's times 10 for the last 10 days, a week of a spring training season.
Now the Pirates have to decide about Matt Joyce, and reportedly on Corey Alupke by Tuesday. So tomorrow, Ray Searage told us there's a meeting. Tollison will get Figueroa. And a week from today, a new season of Pirates baseball at PNC Park begins. The Cardinals come to town 1:05 on Sunday for opening day. And the series continuing on Tuesday and Wednesday at 7:05, and you can go to Pirates.com to get your opening series tickets today. You know what my favorite games always were as a kid? I could never get opening day seats. Oh, everyone goes to opening day.
Yeah.
They're tough to get. I would love to go to that opening series, either second, third game, maybe both, because you could get, usually you could get a ticket.
Well, it used to be automatic. Yeah. You'd have a sellout opening day and then 10,000 the next day. So, yeah, there used to be room. That's not the case anymore,
right?
At least in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, usually you could get a ticket. And that's, you know, the Cardinals, that opening series, it's going to feel important from the first pitch.
Yep.
Ed Easley skies this one to right. Hose. Let's see if he's got one. Oh, yeah. And he still beat the throw. Mercer got in there. A little slow to get up, though.
Shows it off right here. Very strong work to third base.
Accurate.
Jordy walking it off after coming in hard into third base.
Left knee kind of hit the bag a little hard.
The watchful eye of Rick Sofield, third base coach. See if John Jaso can keep his good night going. Walk, scored, double.
Well, the chance is the leadoff hitter. We know we talk about the leadoff hitter and, you know, to set the table for everybody. Well, the lineup is a process, and tonight with a DH for the Pirates, or if you have a pinch hitter, you know, subbing for the pitcher, Jaso can bat with men on and has a chance to drive in runs too as the leadoff man.
Yeah, with the whole ebb and flow of any game, you never know who's going to come up when. So if you're a good hitter, chances are you can be a good hitter everywhere if you can hit. Oh, John would like to have that hanging curveball back. So would the pitcher.
That one upstairs. You know, I'm always curious too with Jaso, seeing him against lefties to see how he does. He's not going to, you know, be in there a lot against lefties, but you're not going to pinch hit for him, I don't think, very often. You know, in the middle part of ball games, for instance, like this. Though Jaso against lefties in his career, 178, it's about 100 points lower than he does against righties. He's really good against righties. So I'm curious how that's going to be handled as the year goes on. Now, Jordy Mercer is going to be taken out of the ball game. That left knee that he hit the bag hard on, remember last year, that was the same knee that was involved in that very awkward collision over at second base, near second base, with Carlos Gomez of the Brewers. That's that same left leg when he had that MCL sprain. So, hey, it's spring training. Pedro Florimon will get in there and run.
Take a look and see what we can see with him coming into third from this angle.
Knee kind of just popping over the bag. And now full on Jaso, 3 balls and 2 strikes. So Florimon, the 5th of the 5 guys we were talking about of this quintet that are vying for those last couple of spots. Everybody in there tonight. One of their final auditions. And on the ground to second, Rosa will get the Orioles out of the frame. So the leadoff hit left stranded there. So through 4 tonight. Pirates enjoying a 3-2 advantage. All the runs coming in the first inning.
You know, the subject has been and continues to be who's going to make the club, who's going to be sent down. So I do have a story for you.
Oh.
Back in the day, a lot of us were good prospects. There was a guy named Tom Butters that pitched briefly for the Pirates, Bob Pretty from McKees Rocks, and myself. And it's getting late in spring training, and Joe Brown was out on the field. And Joe, the general manager, always liked to have sunglasses on and always getting some sun. So he'd be like the kind. So you didn't know whether he's looking at you or not. So it's down to cutting time. So Bob Pretty goes up and says, Joe, who's it going to be? You going to send me down? You're going to keep me, or is it going to be Butters? You're going to keep him? And Joe never looked down. He says, Pretty, you're going to Columbus. And by the way, take Butters with you. so that took care of that whole scenario. They both got cut. Joe liked to get his son. So and he never minced words. Yeah, you're not going. You are going. He was a great man. I absolutely loved Joe Brown. He was great. He took care of a lot of us that weren't big bonus babies and that kind of thing, and kept track of all that. So yeah, you can wind up. There's a lot of major leaguers that can tell you how they got cut at the last minute or made it at the last minute.
And Clint Hurdle, a straight shooter as well. And on a special Inside Pirates Baseball, you can take a look at the Buccos' new additions, potential breakout players, and much more. And we'll also break down this year's looming questions as we preview the Pirates' 2016 season on Inside Pirates Baseball. 6 questions tomorrow at 12:30, right here on Root Sports. Pedro Florimon
takes over at short. Trevor Williams still on the mound. So he's going to try to go 5 innings tonight, and it really has settled down nicely. No more scoring after the 2 home runs. Got out of a jam, pitched nicely out of some traffic in the 4th inning, and here he is working in the 5th.
And nice to get an extended look at him. A lot of these guys, the pitchers especially, some of this this younger, talented group. We see him for a couple of innings at the beginning of the spring, and then they have to go and get stretched out over on the minor league side, so we don't get to see him. Not enough innings for everybody.
Whether you make it or not, you want your name to be known by what you've done in spring training.
Kind of goes in the back of everybody's mind.
You want them to remember you.
Positively, though.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
You can be remembered for something else, though.
Yep. For being lousy, sure. Got to get a spin on that one. Got to get a spin. No spin. Get a base to stop it.
No whammies. Stop. Infield hit for the catcher, Andre Perez. He's probably thinking, I don't get a lot of those.
Trevor Williams thinking, hey, come on, I threw him a pretty good pitch. He didn't hit it very well. It could have spun out for me.
And Williams has given up 7 hits after the home runs, 5 singles. Xavier Avery is 0 for 2. Fun one today in Mexico City. How about that for a spring training locale? Padres playing the Houston Astros and winning 21-6.
That one might take a while.
And delighting folks. They're going to play again tomorrow in Mexico City, and it's been fun to see. We saw the Rays yesterday. The Rays had played in Havana, Cuba.
Took them a while to get back home.
Yes. A little mechanical delay, keeping them on the tarmac. But
yes, nothing political. It was mechanical.
Yes. And the Pirates will play in Indianapolis. Avery strikes out.
Number 5 for Trevor. Down and in. under the hands. Nicely done, like cutter, slider, however you want to label it.
And of course, the Pirates will be playing in Puerto Rico.
Always you see the Clemente jerseys.
Yes. A 2-game series against the Marlins.
Nice play. That ball came up on him.
And they're going to get 2 out of it. So Jason Rogers helping out Trevor Williams. A nicely turned double play.
So yeah, Trevor Williams goes his 5 innings, and with the help of that ball did try to come right up on Rogers, and take a look as he knows it nicely.
Well, Rogers, who got taken off of third base last year with the Brewers, played it in his minor league career. He's looked decent over there at third base for the Pirates in the time that he's gotten over there.
How about from a personal standpoint, different feel to the Brewers spring training process than the Pirates, or similarities? Spring training, the month of March.
Well, I think last year the Brewers were thinking that they were going to be a contender. It turned out that they weren't. This year, not around the Brewers camp, but very different feel for the Brewers. I would say the Reds as well, as they're kind of auditioning a lot of guys, young players, and then some kind of fill-in types. So this year,
but the mechanics of the month itself.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think you know, you're trying to get a look at some guys. Whatever there's a roster spot available, you look at some of those guys, and then the regulars just getting their work in. So I think, but for the Pirates, not a lot of spots.
Well, the teams that usually have those good years, there's a reason. If those players don't all depart, plug them in, let them go. View from the boardwalk, not under the boardwalk. The song that's up on top of the boardwalk.
As night sets in, our day automotive great day from last season. June 23rd, and Francisco Cervelli, that 3-run home run, part of that 7-run 4th inning that erased that 4-run deficit. Pirates come back, beat the Reds 7-6. Part of that magical 98-win season from a year ago. Boy, that is. Still think about that. 98 wins.
Yep. And that's how you get up on the boardwalk right there. And, you see the twilight time in Bradenton, Florida.
While we have a moment, just want to say happy Easter to my folks.
Sefner's finest.
Listening and watching back in Clinton Township, Michigan. So my mom just texted me, so I got to say hi to my mom. Andrew McCutchen will start off the 5th inning. And he's batted. This is the first time he's leading off. He's been batting with men on both times. And now even up a ball and a strike. Rick Sofield's got that one. Now if McCutchen leads off an inning like he does here in this number 2 spot, I don't care if you're batting third or you're going to lead off some innings, but still not a bad guy to lead off an inning if you have to do it that way, right? Because of the speed that he has, the on-base potential.
Well, you want him up as often as you can, no matter where it happens.
And being in that number 2 spot, the Pirates say that he might come up another 20 times over the course of the year. Simple math there, higher in the order.
Yep.
That's something we'll probably be talking about if that indeed becomes the lineup, and they use that for some time. Clint Hurdle using the analytics department to kind of talk him out of the way that we have always thought about, the big hitter in the lineup. That's your number 3 hitter usually, and now it's some of the data suggests that maybe you put him as the second hitter.
And we were talking on the way to a game Friday night, and you were telling me that the Pirates are not the only team to do that. Some of the other teams are putting in what you would think would be their number 3 guy in the number 2 spot. I think you meant Joey Votto.
Touching down on strikes. Yeah, Joey Votto is for at least a year, maybe I can't remember if it was last year that he started doing it or the year prior, but Votto has been there, but he's a guy that also will draw walks like McCutchen does. So an on-base guy, but he's also got great power, and he just happens to be the team's best hitter too.
The times they are changing.
They're always a changing, aren't they?
Well, the number 3 guy was your guy for 100 years. But if the numbers back it up, why not change if it makes sense?
Matt Joyce is the number 3 guy tonight. 0 for 2. We've seen a lot of things. Really, in the last few years, baseball has really changed a lot. Very quickly.
Well, the analysis, the information has prompted a good bit of that.
Popped up. Allison.
They've had some interesting situations. They both went out to left field for a ball. Now they both wanted that one.
And Phillips. And Phillips is done for the night after getting the first 2 here in the 5th. It's 3-2 Buccos here in the 5th. Three-two Buccos, bottom of the 5th. Chaz Rowe is on. Great Pirate bloodlines for the right-hander.
Oh. It's the grandson of Bill Mazeroski. I find that hard to believe at 29 years old. David's got a son, maybe. Steubenville, Ohio, maybe, yeah. Well, yeah, if that's the case and it's in the book, then yeah, very good bloodlines.
Probably the best fielding pitcher in all of baseball then, right?
Absolutely. He's got also has a better glove than Mazur used. Oh yeah, got the rawhide work and everything.
Like those nice strings he's got going.
Yeah.
Might help knock down a ball.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes they make him cut those off so they have things flying around to distract the hitter.
Rogers down on strikes. So Rowe completes the 1-2-3 innings. 6th coming up. 3-2 Buccos.
The Pirates' 5K home run.
We go to the 6th. All the runs coming in the first inning tonight. Pirates on top. Trevor Williams is done. Going 5 to get us started tonight.
Tony Watson. Another great year for Tony last year. ERA under 2. 75 innings, 17 walks. Opponents hitting .205. And that's a high home run number, seems like, for Tony. He doesn't give many up.
Facing Pedro Alvarez, who hit one tonight.
Accurate number, just a lot of character for Tony.
Well, we have a quick correction here. And Steve, I think you're right on about this. The Orioles media guide said that Chaz Rowe is the grandson.
I find that hard to believe.
Of Bill Mazeroski. He is the great nephew.
Okay.
Which you had said you thought that might be correct. So the Orioles had to correct that.
Mm-hmm. I think he might be maybe the grandson of Preacher Rowe.
And of course that great 1960 World Series Game 7. Mazeroski capping a great comeback. Forget about the 8th inning in 1960.
Well, yeah, Hal Smith hitting a 3-run shot. Yeah, 11 years later, we got it done again. Not quite as dramatic, but just as good in the 7th game.
And the lefty gets the lefty. Probably won't see Alvarez against a lot of lefties.
Big sweeping breaking ball. Well, both parties familiar with that. Tony's gotten a lot of guys, and Pedro's chased a few of those big breaking balls.
Facing one of the best in Watson. Reimold tonight, infield hit and a home run. To short. And Florimon gets the second out.
Yeah, Maz's home run. A day like all days, filled with those things that alter and illuminate our times. And you were there. Remember that show? There was a show called You Were There on TV. And 80,000 people said they were there on that day.
It's probably gone to 800,000 now. But you know what? I didn't realize, in doing some of the reading to get prepared for this season, how much people continue to come out to the wall.
Oh, absolutely.
Every year. I didn't realize that, you know,
big.
It's the greatest moment in Pirates history.
Yep. And high on the ranks of greatest moments in sports.
I mean, you know, to turn around a Game 7 like that, and especially against the Yankees in that era.
Oh, yeah. The Yankees were supposed to be the powerhouse. They scored all the runs. We all know the story, but the Pirates got the rings. They did it. I think Whitey Ford had a couple shutouts. They scored 16 one game, maybe close to 16 in another. But they only won 3.
One of the great moments in sports. Yeah, I mean, that says it. But I didn't quite realize how it's still revered to this day.
Oh, yeah. Out in Oakland, they gather and they play it on the radio. They play the entire radio broadcast of that game.
I hope we're busy this year and in most years, but the first year that we're not busy, I want to go to that.
Well, I think it was October 13th. We'll still be in the regular season, won't we? The way things are these days. Not quite. Hopefully we're playing somebody.
I'm hoping that we'll be working through November.
Your contract is year-round, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
Well, working games, not doing the my stand-up on Tuesday nights with
Teek's famous line.
Yeah,
Teek's famous line. He told Chuck Tanner, "You're killing me. You're pitching me 100 games," and Chuck said, "You're getting paid for all of them." Kent Tekulve, we are family.
The 79 group. L.J. Hose has a 2-hit night. The great lineage of Pirates, and now it's this group here, another generation of really great teams. And now this year, can this be the culmination of 3 straight postseasons?
Maybe there ain't no stopping us now. It's been a great run. It's been a really, really neat 3 years for the Pirate fans, the Pirate players, the city, getting the kids back in the ballpark. You run out those kind of win seasons 3 years in a row, and it's going to be good for everybody. Just keep on trucking. And I still go back. I want to win the World Series. I want to see these guys win the World Series. It's their World Series. But also, don't discount the fact that when it comes down to cases, the real way to assess a team, for me, is what they do in the regular season. The Pirates have been tremendous the last 3 seasons.
One team with more wins, the Cardinals. We'll see them in a week. And Tony Watson with a scoreless inning. Pirates still on top.
On Root Sports is brought to you by McDonald's All-Day Breakfast. Breakfast has been liberated. By Bordas & Bordas, official legal partner of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Visit BordasLaw.com. And by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Josh Harrison starts things. And to add the 3-2 lead. Happy Easter to you. What's a Reds fan doing?
I think there's probably a bargain price on that when he bought it here at the ballpark.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Still living in 1990.
I think the Reds are going to have a lengthy season this year.
That's all right. Everything comes and goes. There's Michael Almanzar. He's in at first base. You never know in baseball. That's the funny thing is we're going to write down all of our picks for the year, and there's going to be a team that we put down at the bottom that ends up doing something really good as Harrison strikes out. And there's going to be a team we put right at the top that has themselves a long, long year.
A long, lengthy year into November.
Well, that could be too. Yeah, sure. So Chaz Rowe, who we're told again is the great nephew of Bill Mazeroski.
He's been great so far. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts. That's going to end.
Almanzar just in the game. Still gets the out. And Pirates Spring Training Baseball live with the MLB.com at Bat app. You can stay connected all spring with radio broadcasts and video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. on your smartphone or tablet, or both. Pedro Florimon batting for the first time. He came in. Jordy Mercer, down that left knee, kind of came hard into the third base bag sliding.
It didn't look like anything major, so we'll hope that that's the case. It's going to be tough.
That's a nice bunt.
Yep. Tough for the pitcher, good for Pedro. Beautiful bunt. Kind of had some English on it. Stopped right there. Little drop shot. Yeah, kind of a little bottom spin on it. Hit the bottom of the ball. Checked it up right there.
Like a bocce. Just sat in the grass.
Yeah, like a Jason Day wedge, sand wedge.
I was talking with John Neese yesterday about Jason Day, the golfer. They're good friends. He was watching intently his round.
Yeah, he's playing for the championship in the championship in the match play thing today.
So Florimon continues his spring where he's leading the club in runs batted in, getting his average over 250 with that bunt hit. He might try to go. Rowe thinks the same.
We have a moment too. We want to send along best wishes to Ed Heiss. He's under the weather on the disabled list, and great Pirate fan. Hope you're watching and listening, Ed, and hope you'll be feeling better.
A little something to keep your mind off things tonight. A little night baseball on a Sunday on Easter.
Yeah.
Figueroa right to second. Bunt hit left stranded through 6, still 3-2 Buccos.
TPG.
All the runs coming in the first. Pirates still on top by a run. And Joey Rickard, Rule 5 pick, who has had a great spring, is pinch hitting. Tony Watson gets another frame. After 15 pitches, facing 4 batters in the 6th.
Among the many things you like about Tony Watson, control. He has not walked a batter this spring. Walked 17 last year, 15 the year before that.
And that's Chris Diaz in the game. Get the first out. And the Penguins return home to Root Sports on Tuesday when they host the Buffalo Sabres. And coverage beginning at 6:30 with Penguins pregame, presented by Heritage Valley Health System. Arabez Rosa. Also, Jason Rogers switches sides from third to first. Eric Wood is the new third baseman. First row.
And with that wind blowing out to left, you can't quit on that ball because wound up landing in the first row. Looks like it was going to be up on the roof. The breeze trying to push it back into fair territory. Gentle breeze carrying to left field.
Nice warm night here. Some of this got pushed up north today. Nice Easter Sunday. That's right to Rogers.
Well, we had a good spring for weather. We lost the one game, a week ago, yesterday. Other than that, everybody's gotten their work in.
And Watson getting his work in. Just 20 pitches to get 5 outs.
Just like working a sideline for Tony so far.
Audrey Perez, strike one.
I think each year that goes by, Tony has more confidence in that off-speed pitch, pulling the string a little bit, 84 miles an hour. This is about as clean an outing as you can get.
He's going to throw 22 pitches and get 2 scoreless innings. Time to stretch. 3-2 Pirates.
Pirates Spring Training Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Allegheny Health Network, Health for All, and by Barrel Automotive. We'll beat anybody's price. Find out more at barrel.com. Let's go Bucks!
Bottom of the 7th from McKechnie Field. 3-2 Pirates. Hold on to the first inning advantage.
As they say, let's get some insurance.
Yeah, right now. See what they can do. And easily to lead it off against new Orioles hurler. Easily tonight hitless in 2 trips. The Orioles have had throw 6 guys now after Ubaldo Jimenez only went 2/3. And so T.J. McFarland coming on. I wonder if he had to drive up from Sarasota. He wasn't originally on the roster.
Got to just pick up the phone. He's 10 minutes away.
And Robbie's got Matt Joyce.
I do have Matt Joyce. Matt, brief time for you in a Pirates uniform. How would you assess the way your spring training has gone?
Well, so far so good. Really enjoyed my time here with the organization, and seems like they have a great group of guys. You can tell they've really turned things around the last couple of years, and they put a lot of money into the organization, and they've had a lot of success the last couple of years. So for me personally, you know, I'm excited to get a chance to be part of it.
How do you just stay focused? Obviously, you know, whether you're here, whether you're not here, those are decisions that are out of your control, Matt. You can only do what you can do on the field. How do you stay focused on baseball just in the late stages of spring training, given the MLB experience you've had and the success you've had being a former All-Star?
It's part of it. It comes with the territory, you know. You know, there's a lot of other things that can distract you and get in your way, kind of take your focus off what you want it to be and what you need it to be. So for me, I've done it before and played the game plenty of times to know what I have to focus on, what it takes to get ready for a long season. So you know, I feel pretty good.
What does this competition do for you? You know, knowing what the Pirates may or may not do, but how does that fuel you day in and day out here?
Yeah, I think it definitely adds a factor to drive you and keep pushing you a little bit more, especially, you know, for me, I'm 31 now and trying to just rewrite the story. Like I said, so far it's been enjoyable, and you know, I love coming to the park every day and showing up every day and being a part of this organization, and you know, hopefully get a chance to be more a part of it.
Thank you, Matt.
It's cool. Thanks a lot.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. And yeah, Matt Joyce 0 for 3 tonight, but has been coming on lately.
As he said, you know, he's been up and down the street. He knows what it is. He knows what time of spring training it is now. He knows what the competition, you know, and so, you know, it's not like you're a 20-year-old kid. Okay, this is brand new. I didn't know I had to compete for a job. I've had a great minor league career, but he knows the reality. At 31, you know the reality of Major League Baseball.
Andrew McCutchen gets a 4th at bat. Singling and scoring back in that 3-run first inning for the Buccos, and that has held up. And 2 balls and no strikes now, and you know, for Joyce, the decision, not the decision, but a decision will have to be made in a couple of days, whether to pay him the roster retention bonus, meaning, hey, we can send you to the minor leagues if we so choose, but we've got to pay you some money to do so, or do you cut him free, or do you bring him to the ball club?
And how long has that been around? You mentioned it's been fairly recent, 5-6 years.
Yeah, that or less.
Okay.
Kind of a new thing that if players have a certain amount of experience, big league service time, and that's if they have 6 years of service time and they sign a minor league deal, they qualify for that. And Eric O'Flaherty was also in that boat, and the Pirates traded him today to the Braves. Here's the 3-1. Now full on McCutchen. Easy choice with this guy.
Yeah, I think.
Got it.
Yeah, save your $100 grand. He's going to be around.
McFarland's 3-2. So we talked with Ray Searage earlier tonight, and he said that the team meeting tomorrow, and they'll have probably a lot of answers come Tuesday for sure. And the roster will probably start looking a lot clearer as we still have 42 men in camp. 3-2 and another foul.
Were you telling me there's one more split squad game, or are they done?
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. So
I think that's the last one.
Then, you would think when these.
Oh no, there's I guess. Oh no, the Yankees are split. Okay, on Tuesday. Yeah, last one for the Pirates though.
The Yankees are a split squad.
They're split. I got confused.
Oh, okay, okay.
This happens often.
Well, the point being, if there's no more split squad games, you should see some dramatic cuts, because there are a lot of guys that are not involved that are in camp. There's 42 players. I mean, that's a lot at this point.
Hello.
Come on, coach.
We got all the teams on the shirt right there. Nifty design. And so after fouling off 3, McCutchen works the walk. And Mel Rojas Jr. will bat for Joyce, and McCutchen will be run for. Antoine Richardson will run. The speedy Bahaman. So a nice night for McCutchen. 1 for 3 with a walk. There's Richardson. Richardson did not get a good break on it, and so he stays put. They're actually working on that before the game today, trying to get those breaks on balls in the dirt. Or
it's got to be quick. It's got to be almost a gut feel instinct, because if you take time to think about it as you do there, you've got to shut it down and go back like he did. That's got to be just done without a thought. Go. Or
Rick Schofield, yeah, leading that.
Fight or flee.
Leading that group today. Now Richardson thought that one would get away.
Trick play. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
He thought about going to third. Well, a calliope being played behind that ball. He was just trying to draw a throw. An error on O'Brien, the catcher.
Good hustle to keep Richardson at second base. Usually that ball goes down the right field line. You can run for a while. Of course, he is diving and scratching and biting to get back to first base at that point. So he's got to collect himself and head to second.
A chance for an insurance run here with 2 outs. Rojas on the ground to Tolleson, and that threat ends. 8th coming up, still 3-2 Pirates. Home run 5K and 10K presented by Allegheny Health Network and Highmark, set for Saturday, April 16th. And if you sign up, you get a Tech t-shirt, a ticket voucher good for a Pirates game. And families can join in with the Chick-fil-A 1 Mile Family Fun Run. Register today at pirates.com/home run. Tony Watson, a good outing tonight. 2 scoreless on 22 pitches. And now Caminero. And Robbie's got Tony Watson.
Watson, 2 ups, 2 downs for him in the 22 pitches. In our McDonald's player interview, Tony, the efficiency, what is leading to it? What can you gain from that in spring training?
I mean, I'm just trying to go out there and get my work in. You know, trying to attack the hitters. We got a week out here, so trying to make everything click. This is we got one more outing after this, so it's good to get the up and down. 2 innings. Not used to that, so I'm a little tired, but it's good to get out there and be sharp and get ready to go.
What kind of pride do you take when people look at the Pirates bullpen, they think, after the 7th inning, the game is won? We got Watson and Melancon coming in. What does that mean to you to hear people say that?
It's great, but it's not as easy as it looks. It's a grind. It's a long season. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but take a lot of pride in getting the ball to Mel. You know, it's nice to have the starters go deep into games, but we got one of the best closers in the game, if not the best. And you know, I take a lot of pride, just like the other guys in the bullpen, handing the ball to each other and getting the ball to him.
The personnel has changed so much in the last couple seasons, but the results have been the same. What is it that makes the Pirates bullpen so special and so good?
It's just like the rest of the clubhouse. You know, we're a real tight family, great chemistry. Everybody's pulling for each other. You know, so it's no different in the bullpen. We got a good group of guys. We got some guys coming back. We've got a couple of additions that you know, have electric arms and great stuff. So it's going to be a fun season. We're looking forward to it.
How about when you look at Nicasio? We don't know whether he's going to start or relieve, but he's a new guy nonetheless. Him and Feliz, when you look at those two, what have been your impressions?
I've only seen him thrown a couple times, but you know, electric stuff. You know, 95+ arms with good breaking balls, and you know, we're just happy they're on our side now, and you know, hopefully they can help us get us some wins.
Thanks, Tony.
You got it.
All right, Joe.
A fine outing for Tony Watson, who, as he said, doesn't often pitch 2 innings. Only did that twice last year.
Very efficient, the way he pitches and the way he talks. Gets it done both ways. Very well done.
We like both.
Yeah, business as usual for Tony. It's good to see him out there.
And good to see him get a 2-inning outing.
Yeah,
in spring training.
Yeah. I'll have to get on him a little bit. Tell him he's tired. I'll speak to him tomorrow about that.
15 pitches in the 7th, and then 7, I should say, in the 6th, and then 7 in the 7th. He's hit to right. Josh Hart. And Avery moves to 3rd. So Caminero with a couple of base hits given up to start this 8th inning.
Yeah, and Archimedes has not had a great spring. Take a look at his numbers. Again, they're spring numbers. But coming in, he'd worked 8 innings, given up 12 hits. Now it's 14 hits. So he's to tighten things up a bit. Right now, as a matter of fact.
Almanzar, the first baseman. We're getting to that point in spring training where the guys that are coming into the games late are not guys that were really in camp. And so Caminero is working to a new catcher. That is not Ed Easley behind the plate, but we don't know who that catcher is.
We need to get Archimedes to strike some people out. That's his strength. Jared Hughes is the ground ball guy. Jared, as you said, on the shelf currently. We have different talents for different pitchers. This guy's the heat.
Almanzar, not a great fast base runner. Might be able to still get him if you get that ground ball, but
he's got the 0-2 count he wants.
Whoa, little Ozzie Smith.
Yeah, pretty good at it too.
I could never do that.
No, you can't. There you go. 0-2. Give him a chase up and in. That's the Archimedes coming over the fourth.
With that strikeout, Nolan Reimold will get another chance to bat.
Up and in and chase. That's classic. When you can throw that hard, you get somebody 2 strikes. Hard to lay off that pitch and hard to do much with it.
Fast.
It appears to rise, but that's just an illusion. But hitters look like it when they're standing up there. It looks like it's rising. When you get that fastball that stays on an even plane. Only the power pitchers do that.
I never had that label, rising fastball. Decent fastball, not the rising fastball, not the Koufaxes or the Seavers. It did look like they were rising. They were so fast. I used to say the Koufax's fastball went up, the curveball went down. Go back to the bench. That's it.
The great left-hander of the Dodgers. How about that 1-2 punch they had with Don Drysdale all those years?
Koufax and Drysdale.
And they had it last year with Clayton Kershaw and Zach Greinke.
Yep.
Reminiscent.
Quite a duo.
Old, now 2-0.
Looking pitch that didn't get the call on. And you're sprinkling guys like Bill Singer and Oral Hershiser, the pitching legacy of the Dodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Fernando Mania, Venezuela.
One of the best phenoms ever.
Yep.
Early in his career. 2 balls and a strike now on Reimold. Don Sutton.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Yep. Is it Bob Welsh?
Bob Welsh.
Yeah, very good.
Very, very good.
Yeah, I mean, tons.
The late Bob Welsh. Recently lost Bob Welsh. Way too soon. Now the 2-1. Evens up.
Now let's see if they want to go back. We'll see if we can maybe catch where the catcher is setting up. If they can go up and in again. Okay, let's see if our catcher, yeah, he wants it. Well, down. Clank.
And the Orioles will tie it.
Well, that goes back to what you were talking about. His fastball is tough to handle when it's downstairs because it's moving, it's fast, and you got a young catcher who's not used to working with that kind of speed, that kind of location. And, just got away off the glove.
And we're told that's Reese McGuire back there, who was in camp with the Pirates, but does not have the name on the back of the uniform tonight.
Tie ball game.
We have not seen a run since the first inning. Trevor Williams went 5-2 for Watson. Now Caminero. 3-2 to Reimold. And he lost him.
Archimedes continues to struggle here in the month of March.
That's the best month to struggle in, though, if you're going to pick one.
Yeah, because he is on this baseball team, that's for sure.
Drew Turbin is in there for Hose. And you can see the sweat off the arms of Caminero. A warm night. How is that challenging for a pitcher? Or do some guys prefer to work in the heat, stay loose?
Yeah, I preferred the cold weather because the hitters didn't like it. Stay up.
Maffei in left, able to retire that one.
Yeah, a lot of the benefit for pitching in the heat, if you're a starter, by July or August, you're taking fewer pitches to warm up. You're warming up maybe 10 minutes to start a ball game instead of 18 or 20 in between innings. You can get loose very, very quickly. Yeah, a lot of guys like working in the heat. They can get loose, but I love pitching in April because the hitters, they don't like the ball inside them. It was maybe more psychological than reality, but I don't know. I felt like I stayed strong. And plus, I weighed 175 pounds. I couldn't afford to lose too much. I pitched a Saturday afternoon game in St. Louis and lost 12 pounds. Really?
Literally?
Literally.
Wow.
I got it back by 9 o'clock. It was a day game. The heat wasn't my friend.
Dario Alvarez. And Maffei gets Caminero out of that inning. Orioles tie it as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Final night game here at McKechnie Field for this year. Orioles knotting it up at 3. Jason Rogers will start things for the Buccos. And we've gotten word on, there's Jason Stoffel. Nice stash. Looking to Rogers. That's a formidable beard he's got started here for spring.
And a formidable breaking ball.
Yes. It's Rogers in the hole. 0 for 3 tonight. Play a little third, a little first. Does he make the roster? That'll be decided perhaps very soon. Glenn Hurwell has said that he really wants to take as much time in spring training as he can. But some decisions are going to have to be made in the next couple of days. New bat for Rogers. A lot of choices after the
Earl Weaver.
Oh yeah.
Famous Hall of Famer. Manager. There's Earl, number
right
4. Yep. What a career he had. He had some pretty good players too.
And a little bit of both. Manager helping players be better. Players helping manager be better.
Yep.
And this Oriole bunch kind of reminiscent in some ways of that typical Earl Weaver outfit, playing for the 3-run home run, right? Big boppers.
But just not those 420-game winners. But yeah, they play for the big. That's American League Baseball. The big inning, the big numbers.
Yeah, that's the question for the Orioles. Will they have the starting pitching to get them to the postseason? Now look at that one on the left there.
Oh, he's
Frank Robinson.
Well, that could have been an argument in our World Series. Earl looks very young there. Yeah, Earl. He was special in the World Series, coming out in the first inning. Rule 801. I didn't know what the heck rule. I didn't know they had rules.
What did he say? What's Rule 801?
He said you had to be lined up on the. You had to be in contact with the pitching rubber, and I was. I mean, it's just a little psychological thing. He was fooling around with. You can, as long as you're making contact with the rubber, you can be lined up. His point was you had to be completely in front of it, your entire foot, and so he came out and did his thing. He really missed the good thing. I never stopped. I balked for 10 years because I never stopped in my stretch. And he said that. There's wording. He said he's not stopping either. And if he pursued that subject, who knows what the rest of that ball game would have been. But meanwhile, we got action here. We need just a point. We got the leadoff man on.
Rogers working the leadoff walk.
But it did help me settle down. You know, the 7th game. You're a little excited out there. And every time I saw him in the ensuing years, I thanked him.
Chris Diaz with a good bunt. A very good play by Rosa. Moved on to third. And getting some word on Jordy Mercer. Removed from the game tonight after sliding into third base, and just precautionary. Some left knee discomfort. Again, it's spring training. But it's that same knee that last year that Carlos Gomez slid into him, and it's just a good chance to give him a break.
Well, look, maybe he dug his knee into the ground as he was going down into the slide. It didn't look like he made terrible contact with the base, but again, we hope that it's minor. We've got enough issues on that side of the infield, although the acquisition of David Freese settled a lot of it.
Playing third base to start the year for Jung Ho Gong, and then may work over at first base as a platoon partner with John Jaso. Freese hitting his first Pirate home run yesterday. Jake Gobert tonight 1 for 3. Drove in at the time a go-ahead run back in the first inning. Gobert last year all year in AAA with the Padres, but has some big league time. There's the corner outfield spots in first base.
Don't need anything spectacular right now. Just a good solid base hit. Takes the lead. Take it the 9th inning.
And a strike 3 call on Gobert. 2 away now in the 8th. And Pirates spring training baseball presented by McDonald's, and it continues as the Bucks host the Twins here at McKechnie Field. Join us for some matinee baseball tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock right here on Root Sports.
Well, here's our RBI leader, Pedro Florimon.
Pirates run batted in leader for spring training. Bunted his way on back in the 6th.
On a layup.
3-3 tie in the 8th. And a strike over from Stoffel.
They have the balls to go for it.
Out of options, trying to make the roster. So the Pirates cannot send him to the minor leagues if they so choose. They either got to keep him. He's already on the roster. Or if they do want to try to send him down, they could designate him for assignment, and that would allow any other team to pick him up if they added him to their 40-man roster. And that shuffles so much over the next week. Lines out. And that potential go-ahead run left stranded at second.
Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by McDonald's All-Day Breakfast. Breakfast has been liberated. By Kenny Ross, just ask a neighbor. And by UPMC, life-changing medicine. Let's go Bucks!
Ninth inning here in Bradenton. Pirates and Orioles.
How about that hat? That's my man Jensen. He's a former fantasy camp.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's fantasy.
Did you give him some of the Stargell stars then?
Kenny Jensen, no.
Oh, okay. He must have just gotten those on his own, huh?
Yep. He earned them, too.
Been waiting to see Corey Lupke.
And here he is. Caminero gives up the run to tie it, and Corey will come in to work the ninth, bottom third of the order.
He has not pitched in the big leagues in almost 4 years. And has really looked good in a brief time here in the spring, but he didn't start pitching until 10 days ago because of a hamstring injury. So working on back-to-back nights.
It is 4 2/3 game innings.
Joey Rickard has had a fine spring.
We just have a shot of Ray Sears talking to himself.
Got the walkie-talkie going.
Where's that, Blue?
I don't want Ray to be, in that state of talking to himself this early in the year.
There's a strike over. Now just observing.
Yep, Spanky in the back.
Mike LaValliere.
Yep.
Great catcher for many years.
Spanky coming back from 2 knee replacements.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Looking good out there.
Yeah, he is. He's
hitting fungos every day.
Yeah.
Chance for Rogers. And Rickard gets another chance.
In on the hands. Yep, was far enough.
Well, Lupke, another one of those guys that they've got to make a decision on pretty soon. Had 2 Tommy John surgeries, then a surgery in his forearm. Then he developed a staph infection. And Rickard continues his hot spring. Record at 392 coming in, trying to make the roster as a Rule 5 draft pick.
Didn't Lukey also have a hernia situation? He's had all kind of medical issues.
His last major league game was,
There we go.
let me see if I can do the math, 47 months ago to the day. Almost 4 years. And he's only pitched, I mean, it's not like he's been down in the minor leagues. He's only pitched 7 games in the minor leagues on rehab. Well hit to left. Fay will have to play it off the wall. And Rickard's going to try to score. And he's in, and the Orioles have the lead. Garabez Rosa drives him in.
That ball got out there in a hurry.
Well, if the Pirates are to keep a left-handed pitcher, Lukey very much in that mix with Eric O'Flaherty being traded away today.
Pretty good piece of hitting right there. Looked like a cutter or slider down and in. He got the hands and body out of the way and got the good part of the bat on it.
Chris O'Brien, the catcher, with Rocha on at second after that RBI double. Now the other lefty that the Pirates have in camp, Kyle Lobstein, started yesterday. He's been working as a starting pitcher and would probably be used for more innings than Lukey at this point, because Lukey's still really pitching
Terry Pendleton, Willie McGee.
to rebuild that arm strength.
93 miles an hour. So the second Tommy John seems to be producing a pretty good result in terms of that speed.
Yeah, 93. So back-to-back hits for the Orioles. 12 hits tonight for Baltimore.
Got it.
Pirates held them at bay after the Orioles hit a couple of home runs back in the first. Pedro Alvarez and then Nolan Reimold both homered off Trevor Williams, but that was all that Williams gave up. 2 scoreless for Tony Watson. Caminero gave up a run.
I can't even imagine going through Tommy John twice. I mean, that's what a remarkable piece of perseverance. He stayed upstairs with the fastball. He's late on the last one, so even later on that one.
94. And so the velocity there from Lupke, and it shows that he's healthy. Now he was what was looking like going to be a very good young starting pitcher for the Padres. And so much so that right at the end of spring training 4 years ago, they gave him a contract extension. So, but after that, he only pitched. He was only healthy for 5 starts. That whole rest of the 4 years. Now 31 years old.
Like an hour off.
So you talk about these candidates, people trying to win jobs. You heard from Matt Joyce, 31-year-old position player.
Young enough where he can still do the job for a long time, but you got to get the job.
Yeah, and you know, at 31, you don't know how many more chances you're going to get.
Ozzie Martinez, the hitter. You know, you talk about having Tommy John twice. There aren't a lot of guys who've had the surgery twice and have been able to come back and really have any success. The list is very short, but
yeah, there can't be many.
Yeah. Jose Rio had it 3 times. Remember, he came back from retirement.
Yeah.
And the guys who've had it twice usually aren't the same. But Lupke so far this spring has showed that maybe he's healthy enough to do it. And we'll move Rocha to third.
Never hurts to be left-handed either.
You got 9 lives. But the velocity is there. The slider in a couple of his previous outings looking sharp. And he's excited if he can make it. He's from Ohio, western central Ohio near the Indiana border, but still, you know, close enough to home where Pittsburgh becomes a really great place for him, on an Ohio State product.
Yeah, helps the family come over to Pittsburgh and watch games.
I know about that. Base hit up the middle, and the Orioles get another. Josh Hart. And so 3 hits in the inning off Lupke here in the 9th. If anything, he's been a little up tonight. Probably a situation even at age 31 where you pitch with a chance to make the roster. Probably still some butterflies, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. After being rusty that long a layoff, yeah. Because again, you're feeling good, but you got to get out there and convince yourself with your mind and your arm that you're 100%. And then again, you're not a kid. You're 31 years old.
Almanzar takes inside 2-0. And some miscommunication with Reese McGuire there.
Watch how the catcher reacts here. Yep, he's looking for that ball to stay up as a fastball. All of a sudden, it's got some late break, and oh, how can I get the glove near this thing?
Nice swing and a miss.
We talk about fastballs a couple different ways. I mean, there's guys, 2 different guys can throw 94, and it gives you a different kind of a feel. Now that was 91. It still looked like it had good finish on it. Some guys can throw 93, 94, and it seems kind of flat. It sounds funny, but that's the way it can be.
It drops in foul.
It's hard to even say 93, 94 could be hittable, and you get a better look at it, better swing at it. But it seems that perception, a couple of 94-mile-an-hour fastballs can have a different feel.
Is that because sometimes a guy maybe hides the ball better, or?
Well, just the release, how it gets out of the hand, and
better extension maybe sometimes.
Yeah, maybe.
Sometimes things just are, right?
Yeah.
2-2. Wood. It's Almanzar, and the inning ends. 2 across for the Orioles. Pirates' last chance coming up here in the bottom of the 9th.
The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Here we go, bottom of the ninth, and the Orioles up by 2.
I thought we were the ones looking for insurance.
It changes quickly, doesn't it?
That's some.
Spring training fading away as we're down to the final week. A week from today, it's opening day, and Drake trying to take care of the lead for the Orioles.
Dinger.
It's been tough all spring training during the games for the Pirates to come up with wins. 7-17-1 going into this contest tonight. They're looking up once again at the scoreboard, but it's March.
Justin Maffei to lead it off. Now, were you telling me that some of the youngsters, they would try to con and say that they would win a prize or something if you win the Grapefruit League title?
No, I did not say that was
so that maybe that was Bob Walk.
Could be.
All you pitchers and your tall tales, but yeah,
I remember sending some of the young players after left-handed bats, and the key to the batter's box, but nothing like championship stories. That's cruel. I would expect better things from Bob.
You'll win a TV set or something like that if.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Everyone gets one.
Everybody gets one.
I'll walk over on radio tonight.
They measure you for a TV set instead of a ring. So you get like 3D glasses.
I think that's what he was telling me when he played, that they try to convince the youngsters that if you win the Grapefruit League, you get a free TV or color TV. I think is what he said, which shows you when he played.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That'd be nice. Give everybody a TV set.
Yeah. What would have been the award for you guys?
For me, maybe movie ticket out of Oakland 8, maybe.
And Maffei draws a leadoff walk. That's how it starts. Speaking of movies, I didn't realize how much of a movie buff you were, talking with Jeffrey Lyons the other night down in Fort Myers.
What a treat that was. Yeah, and he not only did that, he gave me 3 index cards with his favorites, his favorite movies. Very few of them matched mine.
Oh, no.
There were a couple.
There's Reese McGuire.
That was a treat.
Did you like Jerry Maguire?
No, I wasn't a big fan.
Okay, all right.
Because nobody ever showed me the money.
Well played, Steve. Well played.
His favorite, by the way, Jeffrey Lyons, according to his index card, I don't think I'm giving any secrets away, was The Graduate.
Fine flick. This might be 2.
Take him out.
3-6-1. And now the Pirates down to their final out. Eric Wood will come to bat with the Pirates down 2 in the 9th. It was going swimmingly until the Orioles with a late uprising against Caminero and Lupke.
Let's go, Eric. He hasn't really gone on many strikes.
Eric Wood bounced out his only trip.
Pirates scored those 3 runs in the first. I thought we were going to have a barn burner. It's been it for the Pirate bats.
Josh Harrison, a 2-run bloop triple. Jake Gobert followed with a run-scoring hit. And the Pirates knocked out Ubaldo Jimenez after 2/3 of an inning.
That was the highlight.
Orioles have sent 8 hurlers out there tonight. Now 3-0 to Wood.
Yeah, to this point, to me, the highlights are that 3-run outburst in the first, and then Tony Watson. It's been
a really fine outing for him. 2 scoreless on 22 pitches.
Actually, also, second to that in terms of pitching, Trevor Williams did a good job.
Yes, he did.
Back-to-back home runs in the first, and then he put up a bunch of zeros. Did a good job.
Might be pitching at PNC Park in the next year or two. That's what I've been really impressed with here this spring training. If you can come up with a theme, it's that, especially early on when we saw a lot of the younger players, there is a lot of depth, quality depth in this organization. Guys that can be called up if needed.
Yep, they've compiled some talent. So they've stocked up the minor league system. Ball that might try to come back. And does.
O'Brien.
Now you're going to walk off. Here comes a walk-off. I feel it.
They'll rule that an error.
And that's, regardless of spring training, that's a tough one to take. You're a young catcher. You pride yourself so much more, I think, as a catcher, of your defensive abilities. And then you get a chance to end the game like that, and just a sour taste. Life goes on for a baseball player.
Swing and a miss. And Drake finishes it off for the Orioles. And tonight, a 5-3 Baltimore win.
Still looking for wins, but again, Trevor Williams did a good job. Tony Watson was very good, and that's about all we had a chance to look at. Caminero continues to struggle, but again, it's March. So all you can say is we go on and play again tomorrow. That's basically it.
And we'll have it for you on Root Sports. Day game, back-to-day baseball and spring training, as the Pirates will host the Twins tomorrow. We'll have it for you at 1 o'clock. Thanks again to all of you for watching here tonight. For Steve Blass, I'm Joe Block. Happy Easter evening to you. The Pirates fall today to the Orioles 5-3.